Good morning. Our primary mission today, whether we choose to accept it or not, is to get this hub off this axle so we can start cleaning up the rest of the brake backing plate and get the bearings off the axle. So let's have some fun. Well, we're going to try plan B. I've got it in our 12-ton press. I got some 1x1 tubing here, and then I added this for extra support. And you can see it's already bent, that tubing and everything. So as a last resort here, I'm going to go ahead and try to heat it up in this and see if that makes any difference. It really doesn't want to come off. Well, of course the GoPro shut off before it popped loose, but it finally did. Yeah, how far it bent those pieces before it finally came out. I'm hoping I didn't bend the backing plate too much. What I finally ended up doing is switching to the torch on the acetylene and really heated it up and then pounded it with the BHF. You can see there's the other bar. I'm still waiting for it to cool down. I'm not sure how. Inside that hub looks interesting. There's the axle caught in the bucket. You can see it was warm enough. It melted the side of the bucket a little bit. I'm waiting for it to cool down before I grab it and pull it out. But it took me probably about 3 hours to get that. Well, 2.5 hours to get that out. see if I can grab that. I'm sure it's still hotter. Yep, too hot. Have to cool that down, but boy, that was a job. Like I said, I'm hoping I didn't make too much of a mess out of that brake plate, backer plate. But we got her done. So I let it cool down, get it out of there, kind of look at the plate. Then the next thing we got to do is pull those bearings off yet. So we can inspect those, and then we can press those back on. I don't expect those to be too much of a problem. We've got this. I had a cheap Harbor Freight bearing puller, separator, and the bolts or whatever. It was actually rod with nuts on each end of it. They bent so quickly, so I just went out and got some grade 8 bolts, and then we use it in the press here, and it seems to work pretty good as long as we can get to it. So I'm going to go grab the air hose, cool this down a little bit with the air hose so I can get it out of there and take a look at it, and we'll see what things look like then. Yeah, it looks like the backer plate bent a little bit. Should be able to use the press and press that back down, get it straight. But it's not too bad, mainly right up in here. So we'll press that back into place here or later, and should be able to get that going. I've got the first bearing, the outer bearing of the axle, set up with the bearing separator in the press. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can press this out. Hopefully we don't have as much trouble as we had with the hub. I'll switch over to the GoPro, and we'll go ahead and get this out. Well, that'll go really easy. Almost too easy. Doesn't feel too bad. I'll put it in the parts washer. Make sure that that bearing's good. Drop that down. these in the parts washer and let them soak. I'll mark these inside and outside bearings. So I put them back the same way, and we'll go from there. Okay. When we're pressing the hub off there, I bent the vacuum plate a little bit. So we're going to attempt to straighten that out here. I gotta raise up a little bit. Before it swings back. Still not straight. Better. Well, you either pulled that out of there, or there was nothing left of that seal. Either that or it got melted. Oh, that. Come tell me what you think. I think it's mainly been there. Compared to that's pretty good, don't it? It's a little high right in there. Just right in here? But you're going to have to be careful. No, because then you're pushing this one. This is the one that we took off, or I showed you taking the hub off. You can see there's some stress fractures up there. So I'm going to have to weld those real quick and grind those down. Then I got these cleaned up. I'll go ahead and spot weld that back on. need more practice. Let's grind her down and see where we come out. Okay. Well, I did a really crappy job of welding that. I had the wire speed on too high. But it's been a while since I did any welding. We just grind it down. We have the one backer plate that this reinforcement ring, I guess you would call it, came loose. So I've got it in my Harbor Freight spot weld unit, and excuse me, we're going to go ahead and re-spot weld that on. So basically what you do is you put it in there, there's a switch under here, and you just turn it on momentarily. Okay. Well, I think we got full penetration there, so go ahead and clamp it in. Yeah. Great. Okay, hang on. Let's try this again. We'll go a little bit longer. Well, here's shot number 2. Okay, I'm just going to go around and get that done. I'll show you what it looks like when I get there, when I get all the way around. Alright, there it is. I really had to put some heat in there to make that stick. I also straightened those up while I was at it, but or hit it again with media blasting, and then it's time to powder coat. Alright, so while I'm waiting for the powder coating to finish up on the brake backing plates, thought I'd get started on these. I gotta remove the brake lining from them,
which involves drilling out the rivets. You can see on this one the lining actually came through. The rivets pulled through the lining. My guess is that's because they got drenched in oil, or brake fluid. So we'll go ahead and take the brake linings off, drill the rivets out, take the brake linings out, then our media blast these and we'll powder coat those. So let's see what happens here. Well, that went easy enough. And if you look at these, they're basically the same on either side, so I really don't need to keep track of which one was where. We'll just go ahead and take off the linings on all of them and throw them in the media blast cabinet and then powder coat them. Okay, got them all off. They're Bendix. Interesting, the pad says Marshall 2607, then there's a 312 there. I don't know if any of that has any significance. They all came off pretty. I only had two that I had to drill twice. The ones that spun, or those two that spun, I just started pounding them out a little bit and then hit them again with the drill bit. And by pounding them down a little bit, it stuck them in there enough that they didn't spin. So we'll throw them in the media blaster next. There's a seal cover, a retainer. And you can see there's not much left of the seal. Now, I did find part of this when I took the bearings off, but it was broke, or my guess is, as hard as that is, it was broke. Or, it could have also been damaged when I was heating it up to get the hub off, but I think it was pretty well gone by the time I got to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to remove it this way. If that doesn't work, I'll take a chisel and cut it. Here's the replacement seals for it, the 16113s. Let's see. So basically the same seal. So I'm going to go ahead and try to attempt to remove that. Well, ended up having to do it the old-fashioned way with a chisel, but that's fine. So next step is to media blast that and then powder coat it. And then push those back in there.